Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Riley with System Source. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we want to welcome you to today's webinar. So we have a lot of information here with you. I'm Chris Riley with System Source. I'm joined by Jon O'Keefe with our Learning Center. And he will be doing the bulk of the presentation today. So we'll be taking a look at ChatGPT and how we can use it more efficiently in our business in this year. And so we want to make sure that you have the best information possible. And so let's take a look at the agenda. And just sorry for 1 second, we'll go ahead and make Jon the presenter there. There you go. All right. So I'll do a few introductory remarks, and then Jon will jump in, taking a look at what are some of the latest updates in ChatGPT, look at some of the factors that you need to look at as you're doing integration to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. Look at best practices, some of the integration guidelines, look at some of the common pitfalls so we can try to avoid those, and then take a look at how you can kind of use it as for some of the solutions in your business. So a little bit of housekeeping as we get started here. So the first is hopefully you're enjoying the pizza. If you ask for a pizza and that's in front of you. However, if that's not yet to you and you had asked for a pizza, give it just a few minutes. They could be trying to find your address. If you're here, there's a lot of snow and cold, so they might be a little bit slower today if they're looking for your office or your home office, but give them a couple minutes. We also find that if you're working from an office, that, take a look for wherever pizza or food tends to disappear into your office, or you may want to look up front or on the other side. If you have a locked door, you may find the pizza delivery person standing in your lobby, so check there as well. If not, please note Julie Dellinger's email address on the screen, and you can reach out to her, and she'll do her level best to try to help you out on those pizza conundrums. During the webinar today, the first is that audio is in presentation mode, and that means that you can hear Jon and me, but you won't. Unfortunately, not everybody else. But we do that on purpose so that any background noise, music on hold, those kinds of things that maybe where participants are, don't come through the whole group. And but however, you can reach me at any point during today's session through the control tab there and go to webinar. You can share your thoughts there through chat. You can also put in your questions, and we encourage you to put in your questions because Q&A will be at the end, and I'll read out those questions that have been submitted during the session so that Jon can go ahead and address those. Another advantage of putting them in writing is if it's something that's more involved or something we need to be able to get back in touch with you about, or there's simply too many questions and we can't get to everything today, it allows us to make sure that we can circle back with you on those, because we want to make sure that this is an educational experience and that we get your questions answered for you. This presentation is being recorded, and we'll send out that recording as well as a PDF of this PowerPoint, so you'll have that as well, so you don't have to write furiously. And finally, there is an evaluation that you'll get after this. You can just take literally takes about a minute or so. If you can let us know how we did, that helps us so we can try to do even better in the future. We do have a large group here today, so I want to just try to give you a little bit of information about System Source so that you'll kind of understand who you've joined today if this is your first time with us. We also obviously want to welcome our longtime friends as well. So a lot of folks come to System Source when they need to acquire technology. We've been around seriously for those 43 years. Since 1981, there's about 75 of us at System Source. So folks come off when they need to acquire technology. That could be either for in-user computing needs, laptops, printers, desktops, those sorts of things. But most of our work in that area is done in the modern data center, whether that's an on-premise data center, the traditional, or that's going to be in the cloud. So Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, other data center or software as a service types of vendors, or locations. So those could be things like servers, storage, security related devices, switches, wireless, Wi-Fi, all those types of things happen that kind of make that modern data center run and the modern kind of IT environment run, regardless of where you need to install those types of things, whether on-prem and traditional types of hardware or kind of their analogous cloud versions. But people acquire because they really want to improve. So one of the areas is in training, which Jon works with. And so we'll have anywhere from 800 to 1,000 classes at any one point on our schedule, and all of those are available remotely, and literally dozens of different manufacturers, technologies, and general technologies like security, for example, are available through our training organization. So you may see things that are broad like security, or specific like how does Cisco do security, those types of things, all on our website. You can check that out online. Present is kind of our code word for professional AV. So all those Teams rooms, Zoom rooms, all those types of webinars and types of online presentations. So when people need large screen monitors, projectors, all the audio, all the microphones, all the types of things that go into making those modern presentation centers, executive offices, conference rooms, digital signage, all those types of work. That's the type of work that our presentation systems group does, from design, working with architects, all the way through installation. And Consultant, our cloud service, does the work that we just talked about in the data center. And finally, we support all those things where it says maintain at the bottom, either on a you call us as you need us basis, a reactive basis under service and support, or through managed services where we are the IT department for dozens of organizations in this region. And you can contact us 7x24, whether you have an agreement or contract in place with us or not. We're available to be able to help you. So that's a little bit about System Source today. We do have several upcoming webinars, and there will be more posted here shortly. So the first one is going to be on, it's actually coming up tomorrow, and that's going to be on Wi-Fi security best practices. And then I'll just jump down just a little bit down to the one on February the 7th. So while tomorrow is going to be a general session about Wi-Fi security, non-manufacturer specific, there will be the one on the 7th of next month is looking at Wi-Fi 7 specifically here, but how does Cisco Meraki, what's their implementation of that? And then in between those, we're going to have a session next Tuesday on, which is really about Azure services. So again, if you're looking to move things from on-premise servers to the cloud and Microsoft Azure, you can move it towards servers, or you can also move it towards services. And those are kind of specific, let's say around SQL Server, for example, and there are many others, and we'll talk about those next Tuesday as we talk about how you can kind of move things up to Microsoft Azure. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand the reins over to Jon, please.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the frozen tundra of the north here. I'm just trying to move this webcam off of my screen here. And let's go ahead and close that. Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Jon O'Keefe. I am with System Source. I am one of the instructors here. I teach a variety of different things and have a variety of different credentials, and have been doing this for a very, very long time. Before getting into adult IT education, I was in the IT sphere myself. So most of my life, beginning around the age of 9, when I got my first personal computer, has been spent sitting in front of a computer. And today I sit in front of a computer constructed by myself with multiple monitors because I am a big nerd. I am also a real human, which I think is important for all of you to know, because nowadays with artificial intelligence, can you even tell? Well, sure you can, but we're getting pretty close to not being able to. So I do like to introduce myself and let you know that I am a real person. So thank you guys so much for attending this webinar. We're going to talk today all about Gen AI, which stands for generative AI, and we're going to do it through the lens of ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is one of many different Gen AI systems out there. And what we're going to talk about today is not necessarily ChatGPT specific. So if you're thinking of yourself, oh, I'd like to really integrate Claude or Midjourney or any of the other ones that are out there, what we're going to talk about today will assist you. There will be a couple of ChatGPT specific things. I'm going to walk us through the interface and do some stuff inside of ChatGPT so you will get to see how that operates. But again, remember, everything we talk about today can be considered fairly vendor neutral and will allow you to go out and talk about any of the Gen AI systems that are out there for your different organizations. Now, I do want to give a little bit of background on what ChatGPT is, just in case anybody in here is kind of new-ish to AI. And if you are new-ish to AI, welcome. It's a very exciting topic. Mark Cuban, internet billionaire and owner of the Dallas Mavericks, as well as the guy trying to bring down prescription drug prices, and also the guy on Shark Tank, has looked at the landscape, used his business prognostication, and determined that we are likely to see 3 to 5 new businesses that will be popping up in the next few years that will be AI centric and will become household names. Just like around the mid 2000s, Facebook and Google and Amazon became household names and are now some of the largest companies in the world. We are predicting that AI integration is going to be incredibly large, and as fact, the U.S. government has signed over some money for AI development in the last couple of days. So AI is going to be very, very big. It's already very, very big. NVIDIA, one of the largest companies in the world, valued at over $1 trillion, is primarily focused on developing chipsets for AI. And we all know that OpenAI, the company run by Sam Altman, that is looking to revolutionize the way AI is integrated into our lives, is also trending towards a $1 trillion evaluation. Now, if you're saying to yourself, how big is $1 trillion? Let me just hit you with this fun fact for your next holiday party, or you can use with your significant other on Valentine's Day if you really want to knock their socks off. You can tell them this: 1 million seconds is around 11, 12 days, it's somewhere in between. 1 billion seconds is somewhere around 30 some odd years. So that's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. Million is 13 or 11, 12-ish days, and 1 billion is somewhere around 31 years. And then a trillion seconds ago, woolly mammoths were still roaming the earth. The pyramids had not been built 13,000 years ago. So obviously 1 trillion is a very big number. Now, while we've been talking about ChatGPT a lot, ChatGPT is not all that old. It was developed by an organization named OpenAI. It released its first version that was publicly consumable in November of 2022. So ChatGPT has not been around for that long. But if you think about a technology that's making splashes and waves inside of business and outside of business, you are hard pressed to find one that is more impactful than Gen AI. So ChatGPT has obviously, over the last few years, made a huge impact on people's lives and businesses in a variety of different ways. Now, what is ChatGPT? If you're not super familiar with this, this is your basic background information. ChatGPT is what is known as a large language model. That is a term used in artificial intelligence, LLM, large language model. And what that typically means inside of the AI community is a system that is trained in large languages. And what large languages means is it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of gigabits of books, articles, website, internet text data, and it studies it and analyzes it for language patterns. When it does that, it's able to create a database of responses that feel natural and appropriate when given conversational topics. So a large language model can respond to an individual in a very normalized way. Now, not all text-based AI uses large language model infrastructure. Some are very specifically designed to only give you a series of prompts. For those of you that play video games, what that would feel like is when you enter into a dialogue tree, you get a couple of choices to pick from. You can either say, yes, please give me this item, or no, I do not want this item. There are AI assistants out there that operate under this system of decision trees where basically they give you a couple of things that you can input and then they output something. If you've ever called up a tech support for a company and you've gotten one of those phone tree systems that sounds like a person, but it really isn't, that is an AI system that's not a large language model. Large language models take a lot of time and effort and energy to train, and ChatGPT is a large language model. So is Microsoft Copilot, so is Claude and Gemini and Grok and many of the other Gen AI systems out there. They're trained on tons and tons and tons of text. Now, ChatGPT utilizes a generative pre-trained transformer. That's what the GPT stands for in ChatGPT. And GPTs are a more effective way of taking all of the language that they understand and utilizing something called a token. Now, a token in most AI systems is a word or a letter, and GPTs are very, very good at constructing responses utilizing token level language. And what that means is that it can pick and emphasize a word in its response and then construct words around that word to emphasize the response. This gives you a very normalized and lifelike interaction with an AI system that's utilizing a GPT. Now, ChatGPT is one of many GPTs that are out there. People can create their own GPTs that already have a large language model training behind them. And those GPTs are set up to address specific concerns. You'll see them in a second when I pop into ChatGPT. I utilize multiple GPTs with my ChatGPT subscription. So to sum up, we've been doing this for a few years with ChatGPT. They've gone through many iterations and are currently on a variety of different iterations inside of their own infrastructure. ChatGPT is a large language model and a generatively pre-trained transformer. Its goal is to interact with its end user in a very lifelike way, never give the same response. It is a non-deterministic system. And what that means is that if you ask it the same question over and over again, you'll always get a slightly different response, just like when you ask your kids, how was school today? Even though their response is generally, I don't want to talk about it, or boring, or fine, or whatever. Every day you get a slightly different response, and that is what ChatGPT is very good at. Now, ChatGPT, if those of you are wondering, ChatGPT does not currently pass what is referred to as the Turing test. We do not have any AI systems yet that can pass the Turing test. So if you're wondering about that, no, we are not there. ChatGPT is still a computer program. We can still break it if we ask it the right questions. But for the average end user, it is a conversational, easy to interface with AI system that can help and assist with tons of different tasks. Now, one of the biggest challenges that people have with ChatGPT, especially from a business perspective, is there's just a lot of different models out there. Now, ChatGPT is SaaS. It is software as a service. It does have an app that you can download onto mobile devices. It also has an app that works with Windows 10 and Windows 11, and it is available in their flagship version, which is launched through a web browser. But it is SaaS, meaning that ChatGPT changes frequently. They update models, they change the prompting limits, they change the type of responses that are allowed, and all of this is done behind the scenes. Now, it is possible for any organization out there to construct and utilize their own large language models and GPTs. However, most businesses are not finding that to be really cost efficient. There's a lot of data storage and power required. Every time you prompt ChatGPT, it uses a lot of storage and a lot of power. So most organizations are just turning towards the commercially available solutions like ChatGPT. Now, the current flagship model for ChatGPT is the ChatGPT 4.0. This specific model is using enhanced speed for its processing. It's got improved capabilities. It can offer text, voice, and vision through your computer camera. So the ChatGPT 4.0 flagship is really great in terms of handling a variety of different tasks. I can talk to it. I can type to it. I can use my camera and have it analyze my refrigerator. As a matter of fact, one of the things that you can do that is non-business related is I can ask ChatGPT to take a look in my fridge and tell me what meals I can make based on the ingredients that it can see. And if you ever want to impress someone who lives in your house, go ahead and do that, because ChatGPT turns the what should we have for dinner conversation into here's what I'm going to make. And we all know how much easier that is in a house. So ChatGPT can do a variety of different things in its flagship model. It is available to the ChatGPT Plus users. Those are users that are paying $20 a month. It is available to enterprise users, organizations that have a license in place with ChatGPT, and it's starting to roll out for free with users who sign in and create an account. Now, what's really great about ChatGPT 4.0 is it allows for file connectors. It allows you to upload images, and it is really great at both creating images using DALL-E and also supporting image recognition. So it really gives you a fully capable artificial intelligence experience. And when we do our demonstration in a second here, you're going to see all of the different things that it can do. Now, along with ChatGPT 4.0, there is GPT-o1. And O1 is an advanced reasoning skill set. ChatGPT, like most AI systems, uses a logic-based approach, and it also uses a neural network to analyze and understand the problems that it's being asked. ChatGPT relies on reinforcement learning from human feedback, meaning that when it produces a result and a human being says, "Good job," it then knows to produce that result more frequently. And so GPT-o1 has more advanced reasoning skills. Basically, what GPT-o1 can do is it can produce a variety of results behind the scenes and then fact check its own results to produce a more accurate response. The regular GPT-4.0, when put into an advanced combinatorial mathematics competition, can usually score in the 50 to 60 percentile. GPT-o1 can score in the 90th percentile. So it's just a bit stronger in its reasoning. Now, the downside to GPT-o1 is it is really only an advanced reasoning skill set. It doesn't have some of the other features that GPT-4.0 has, meaning it's not capable of handling images and a video for live support. It's really only a question and answer database currently, but it is their current advanced AI reasoning skill set. There are other things going on behind the scenes, but nothing that is publicly available yet. So GPT-o1 is your advanced reasoning skill set. There's also a GPT-4.0 mini, which is the free version that's currently available. You can go to ChatGPT's website even without creating an account and utilize ChatGPT 4.0 mini. It does not allow you, depending on the time of day and how many people are accessing it, advanced features like image recognition or voice recognition, but it will answer questions, and it does contain the same reasoning skill set as GPT 4.0. So if you're an organization and you're looking to test the waters with your employees, you can currently use the GPT 4.0 mini integration for free. You will have a limited number of questions and responses that you can get per time frame. The time frames can vary between an hour and a day. just depending on the load on the system. And so even if you're not sure if ChatGPT is right for you as far as a business, you can have employees test it out utilizing a free version that requires no login credentials, and that is the GPT-4o Mini. If you utilize the login credentials, then you will have access to GPT-4o in a limited capacity. And eventually, when you've asked enough questions, it will boot you down to the GPT-4o Mini. Now, there are two other modes that are important inside of the ChatGPT infrastructure. The first being GPT-4o with Canvas. Canvas is a new feature. It's been around for a couple of months now, and it's designed to make ChatGPT a little bit more editor friendly. Typically, when you produce content with ChatGPT, and you'll see this in a second, it's like having a conversation with an individual. You'll ask a question, and ChatGPT will respond with an answer. Now, at that point, as an end user, I have to digest the answer and determine if there are any issues inside of that answer that I would like ChatGPT to change or move around or discuss or further refine. And that all happens conversationally. Hi, ChatGPT, can you tell me what the weather is today, right? And so I can go in to ChatGPT, which I'll show you right now, and I can ask it a question. How is the weather today? And ChatGPT, and I'm using the 4o Mini, which is the free version. I still have, of course, the 4o. I have the advanced models here. These advanced models do not support web search, which is why they're blacked out. But there's also more models here. You can even go back all the way to a legacy model. But here I've asked it a question, and it's currently 12 degrees where I live, which is near Penfield, New York. So it's going out to the web and checking on our weather advisory here. It's so cold this morning that we didn't even have school for my daughter. Now, if I didn't like this answer, one of the things that I would do is I would say, I needed the temps for the Baltimore area. And so typically the way you'll engage with an AI system is through iteration. You'll ask it a question, it'll produce a result, and then you will need to tell it whether the result was good or what you needed differently out of the result. So this is ChatGPT now responding with the Baltimore area temperature, which it's very cold for you guys as well, 22 degrees. Very cold with sunshine, extreme cold can be dangerous for outdoor activities. So that is the typical way of iterating. However, when you utilize ChatGPT with Canvas, it will then, instead of going through an iterative process, it will produce a result and let you highlight, edit, and change inline different text that it has created for you. And so I will show you what Canvas looks like, but Canvas allows me to do more editing of content creation. So whether you're creating a blog, whether you're creating a script or a document for a website, whether you are building an LLC from the ground up, anything that you're utilizing ChatGPT for, Canvas allows you more editing faculties inside of the service there. So that's why it's really cool. And then there is GPT with Sora. Sora is the newest version of ChatGPT, and it requires a premium account, but ChatGPT with Sora will allow you to create videos. It can do script to video transformation. It can create videos with dynamic visuals. It can also create animations. It allows you to do voiceovers or use AI for voiceovers. It can do sound integration. It allows for real-time editing and adjustments. There's customizable templates and allows you to collaborate on videos that you're making. So let's talk a little bit about what Sora is. Sora is its own version of ChatGPT, and what Sora allows you to do is create videos utilizing a prompt. And so Sora will allow you to load and create videos. So here you can see, here's a prompt. I'd like a brief video of people enjoying coffee and laughing in our coffee shop. And so here's the video that it created. Now, it's not perfect. You can see there's a floating cup there. It also produced this video over here where people are holding their cups. This one's a little better because you can't tell that that cup is weird, but it will create videos for you. It can create different lengths. It can give you multiple variations. You can change the aspect ratio, and you can use presets here, such as whimsical stop motion, cardboard and paper craft, film noir. So there are a variety of different options here. Now, you can look here, we can check out featured videos or recent videos that have been created using Sora. Now, I have not approved this content here, but you can see that this looks like a video game footage from Halo. This is a video created there. This looks like a dance video that's been created. This is all AI generated. This video down here that looks very lifelike, except for maybe the hair physics a little bit, that is all AI generated. That is not real. There's nothing real in that. It's all AI generated. So you can see here that video creation is kind of their next big project. And so Sora is going to be fairly huge. And there are other video creators that are out there as well that are doing similar things. This is included with your premium ChatGPT membership, which again goes for $20 a month. Now, ChatGPT does a lot of things. And so here are some of the common uses that you'll see for Gen AI inside of the workplace. The first thing you're going to typically see that it will do for you is it will write emails and create artwork. It can help you summarize text. It can do preliminary and advanced data analysis on a variety of topics. It can do a language translation for you and do it very well. It can even do language translation on the fly. It can do text rewriting and spell checking. It's a great editor. It can do problem solving if there's things you don't know how to do or questions that you might have. And it can help create personalized learning journeys for individuals inside your organization. Now, one of the reasons you guys are here today is because you want to talk about responsible AI use. And so the reason we have to discuss responsible AI use is because we are seeing a big growing adoption in business and personal use. And you have to remember that AI is not infallible. AI can hallucinate and confabulate. And that means that AI can produce weird results even when given a fairly normal question. AI can make general mistakes, and it can compound those mistakes. Terms and conditions often vary between AI models, and that can produce a lot of heartburn, especially in IT departments inside an organization. AI can create ethical concerns when you use it to make decisions. It doesn't always factor in all of the components that go into the standard type of decision-making process. And AI isn't always clear about its data usage. So AI systems don't always tell you what they're doing with your data. Sorry, clicked too early there. So in order to implement AI into your company infrastructures, the first thing that you really need to do is you need to understand what responsible use of AI looks like, what AI misuse looks like, and then you need to look at what types of risks are out there to company data and company reputation based on utilizing an AI system. So for those of you that are considering implementing AI into your workplace, here are some things that I would suggest you start discussing internally and try and get a handle on how you're going to deal with these issues. The first being just general AI misuse. I can use ChatGPT to do a lot of things. And in a second, I'm going to show you some of the ways in which I can use AI to save a ton of time throughout the average workday of a standard 9 to 5 employee who works in an office, who sits at a computer, who uses Microsoft Office and the internet. And so I'll walk you through a variety of different things that I will do on my days just to save some time. But there's a lot of things that you can do with AI systems that aren't necessarily business friendly. Number one, you can automate a lot of processes. So I can use ChatGPT to automate processes for me. And in one of my examples coming up, you're going to see how I use ChatGPT to automate something that should be done manually. I can also use ChatGPT to create creative content. And I can use that content in a variety of ways. One of my favorite ways to use ChatGPT, non-work related, is to help with Dungeons and Dragons. For those of you that don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, it is a game service, and you play with people, and you have to create things and stories and all this other stuff. So ChatGPT is really great at helping me create content for that. But it can also create content that can be considered harmful. It can create emails that have specific tone to them that you might not want your employees using. It can create stories or songs that, while might be funny, might be harmful to other people. It can create harmful images. There are some AI systems out there that don't have a ton of safeguards on them and can be utilized to create images that are not appropriate. So there's a lot that can be done with AI, and as a matter of fact, schools are very, very concerned with this as well. Also, it can be used to create content that should be created by end users. We all know that kids nowadays, if you ask me for a 7th grade book report inside of ChatGPT, I can do it very quickly. I can say, I need a book report on Treasure Island from the perspective of a 7th grader. Please include a few small mistakes so that way it appears that a 7th grader wrote it. No more than 5 paragraphs. And now it can very quickly and easily write a book report for me. Now, if I were in 7th grade and I had access to this tool back then, you can better believe that I would have used it. And so even when you extend this out into the workspace, when you ask someone to create a draft of a project or something along those lines, then this is one of the AI misuses that can go on here. So now I've got a 5-paragraph book report that I can simply copy into a Word document, and boom, I am done. So AI misuse is common, and you're going to need to establish with your employees what are acceptable things to use AI for and what are unacceptable things to use AI for. Now, another big concern is security and compliance. Now, there's 2 reasons that security and compliance are big problems with AI. You're thinking to yourself, well, AI is big business. I'm sure they've tackled a lot of this already for us. And while they have, we still don't have a clear understanding of what they are doing with organizational data behind the scenes and how they're utilizing it to train their AI systems. So from a pure compliance standpoint, you may not want employees uploading PII or PHI into an AI system, PII standing for personally identifiable information, or PHI standing for protected health information. And so this can be a concern for any organization. You don't want employees taking spreadsheets to do data analysis with, uploading them into a system with customer PII in them. You don't want healthcare employees uploading PHI into one of these systems, so you need to address that. Another big use for ChatGPT is code creation. ChatGPT is used by coders all over the world to help with code refinement and code creation. I myself am not a coder, but I can come into ChatGPT and I can ask it, I need a Python script for a Plex server to help me pick random movies based on the categories assigned in Plex. Plex is a program that allows you to share movies, and here it can go ahead and make me a script here, and it will return random movies here. Now, this is not a non-work related script, but ChatGPT can code for you. And so a lot of people might consider making small applications that are that are making small applications that might make their life a little bit easier. Create a little program that runs this through this checker, and that way I don't have to do it manually. The problem with that, of course, is that this code is available to anyone who utilizes ChatGPT. Therefore, the code isn't necessarily secure. So you're going to want to take and consider here security and compliance concerns, as well as organizational concerns. What are things that go on inside your organization that you simply just don't want an AI system making decisions on for you? And so that may be no creation of code. That may be do not use it to create external correspondence. That may be something more complex, such as all AI systems need to be double checked by two different individuals when they produce a result. There are a lot of different ways organizations are trying to tackle this, but there are organizational concerns. I don't want ChatGPT taking over and running my business for me. Now, some things that I would do before implementing a general AI policy across my organization is, one, I would consider Gen AI training. Yes, there is training for this. I understand that the purpose of a Gen AI system is to be easy to interact with, but that doesn't mean that there isn't still benefit to learning about Gen AI systems, what they can do, what they can't do, and how to better interact with them. There are ways in which you can construct the language that's utilized inside of a Gen AI system to be more effective. This is called prompt engineering. And I would also consider implementing organizationally an acceptable use training for the tool. This is not Office. This is not Photoshop. This is something that you should, at bare minimum, look at an internal training where you go over what is acceptable, what's not acceptable with this system, what they're allowed to upload, what they're not allowed to upload. Typically, this can be done through a brief e-learning or a brief in-person presentation. I know that at System Source, we have packages where we can do acceptable use training on this product, any of these Gen AI systems. So that's definitely something you want to consider. Now, let me pop into ChatGPT here and show you some of the things that you can do very quickly in terms of just kind of helping out the average day. So I get into work. I'm going through my work day here. I've got ChatGPT open. I open up my email. And I see here that I have a 1 p.m. meeting, which is in 15 minutes. And at 1 p.m., my boss, who has the same name as me, pay no attention to that, my boss has asked me to go ahead and read this and bring it to the meeting. They want to discuss this document with me. Well, I haven't looked at this, and I have that meeting in 14 minutes, so I'm going to open it here. And for some reason, they've decided that they would like me to go ahead and take a look through this PDF on labor history. Oh boy, that's a lot of words. There's a lot going on with this. I'm just going to quickly download it right to my computer. I'm going to open up where it is, and I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to have ChatGPT give me a little bit of help here because I am in trouble. So I'm going to briefly just drag in this document here and then ask ChatGPT, I need you to act as my helper. You know a lot about labor history. Please read this document and give me 3 concise talking points that I can use with my boss. And now ChatGPT is going to read that PDF, and it's going to immediately produce 3 talking points for me that I can take into that meeting. So I've got these 3 concise: American unions played a pivotal role, economic inequality and union decline, public sector and progressive unionism. And now I can ask for, give me a fun labor fact that isn't in this document that I might have researched on my own. So now I'm starting to build out a talking profile that I can utilize with my boss. What are some good follow-up questions to this document? So now I've got some follow-up questions I might want to ask my boss. And here, as you can see, I can start engaging with this document. It takes me 1 or 2 minutes, and now I have a bunch of stuff I can copy into a Word document that looks like notes that I can engage with my boss with, and I can go in and have a good talking point. And now I'm going to ask for one final thing. What is one specific fact from this document that you haven't covered yet that I can share with my boss? So I can go into my boss and say, what about that Wagner Act of 1935? And here, this again may be, depending on how your organization views this, an effective use of the tool, or organizationally or otherwise misuse of the tool. Because what I'm doing here is I'm utilizing this tool to go through and do the work for me. Here are my talking points. Here's a fun fact. Here are some follow-up questions. And here's something that's buried in there to make sure that it looks like that I know what I'm talking about. So in just a few minutes, I can go ahead and I can analyze a document that was sent to me. Another thing I might do is, let's say I'm tasked with creating a presentation or a lunch and learn. Our organization might offer a variety of classes on woodworking. And so I can very easily use this to create a presentation for me. I need to create a lunch and learn presentation on beginner woodworking. It should be 45 minutes and no more than 10 slides. And now it will go ahead and it will create an agenda for me. And if this is something that I'm interested in copying into a Word document and then creating my own PowerPoints on, I can do that. Once it's done, I can actually ask it to create the PowerPoint for me, which will give me an actual PPT of the information here. Please create the PowerPoint. And so now it's actually going to create a PPT file for me, PPTX, sorry. And then just like that, I already have the beginning of a PowerPoint created. It won't have any images into it. There are other GPTs that can do that are a little bit more powerful than ChatGPT. You would have to have a premium version. You would have to explore some of the content creator GPTs that are out there, but they can build it with images as well. I typically will do it this way if I have to build a PowerPoint, because inside of PowerPoint already has a design feature which utilizes some AI. And so here is the new PowerPoint. I can download the file. Once that file has been downloaded, I can then load it, edit it, and start designing it here. And so before you know it, I already have a presentation in the works here with some different tools here. And so now I can go through and adjust this as we need. I can even ask ChatGPT to create a script or notes for each slide, create talking notes for each slide. Now, another thing that, of course, I can do is if I'm sent a resume here and I didn't get a chance to review it before my interview, I can go ahead and grab the resume and then load that right into ChatGPT. With a new chat, and it will still continue developing that old chat. I can go ahead and just grab that, and I can ask it, give me the brief summary of this resume. So there you go. There's the brief summary of a resume. So you can do a variety of different things with ChatGPT just on a day-to-day basis. You can ask it to create code. You can ask it to help you with recipes. I did a sentiment analysis. So everybody here asked questions before this webinar started, things that they would like to know. And so I went into ChatGPT and created a sentiment analysis of all the things that you guys kind of want to know. And it broke it down for me into 4 main themes. What are the practical applications and work roles? Security, data, and privacy concerns, best practices and governance, integration with other tools. So some of you want to know how ChatGPT integrates with other tools. We'll talk about that right now. And so this here this was me taking a snapshot from a Excel document, loading it into ChatGPT and asking it to help me with a sentiment analysis. So now I want to kind of open the floor up to some of the questions. I see we have some questions that are coming in, and then I want to kind of also address those questions and address anything else that people might have concerns on. What I will say about the main challenge and the kind of the point of this webinar is that we are seeing adoption rates spike with Gen AI systems. So it's predicted that in the next 2 years, over 90% of all businesses will be utilizing Gen AI in some way, shape, or form. And so some of the things that organizations want to consider before they just fire this tool at their employees are, how are we going to set up and create acceptable use policies and training programs around this tool? Because this tool can be utilized for massive misuse, minor misuse, ethical concerns. Imagine I asked ChatGPT to summarize a resume for me. It has a hiccup and doesn't give me the full impact of the resume. I take that summary into the interview. I let that summary guide my interview with that person. I decide not to hire them. Based on the summary in my interview, I might be missing a key component without doing an actual review. Another example of just standard AI misuse might be allowing AI to create artwork. So I can ask AI to create artwork for me. One simple fun activity that we can do is I can say, take everything you know about me and make it into a photo. And so ChatGPT is capable of creating artwork. You're going to see in a second that it's not necessarily super realistic, but there are concerns in terms of copyright use. Sometimes Gen AI systems will use styles that are famous or otherwise copyrighted or the intellectual property of other individuals there. So here you can see there's a lot of stuff going on. I've got food, because I ask a lot about food. I very much like video games. I've talked about Plex before. I am a Buffalo Bills fan. We do an activity where we open a bookstore in one of my classes utilizing ChatGPT. So this is a fun, I don't know why it's got a beer there. I've never asked it about alcohol, but I do ask it about coffee. Our lattes are lit was our slogan that ChatGPT came up with for one of my classes. So it's doing this based on its memory and association with me. But this art style may be the art style of another artist that's out there. So that is one example of misuse that might happen if you produce an AI image. You are at risk, of course, of running against other people's copyrights. Now, Chris, I'd like to take a look at the Q&A box here. And it looks like we've got some questions.
And I think you probably have time for about one question. We have 2 minutes left there, Chris.
Okay, let me see if I can pop.
I'm sorry, John.
That's the chat. Okay, let me go ahead and look at these questions here. Question in terms of capabilities and accuracy. How does ChatGPT compare with MS Copilot? Additional question, how does ChatGPT do with legitimate medical data? So let's talk about the integration. Copilot is ChatGPT. It is just integrated inside of the MS Office platform. For those of you that are unfamiliar what that looks like, ChatGPT inside of an Office platform here, I can access Copilot, and from here I can ask it questions specifically about the data that's on my screen. So I could come in and I don't know if I have a good one in here, but I could ask it to total up the laptop sales. And so integrated inside of ChatGPT, I can work within the application to get results. I can also, of course, with ChatGPT, I can upload this file and have it do it for me that way. So, and there are ChatGPT plugins, but they are not official for the MS Office platform. Now, what does ChatGPT do with legitimate medical data and literature, including current medical journal content?
And I hate to interrupt, John, but we are right at time. So
sure.
we will commit to getting back to the other questioners. We appreciate your questions. We'll make sure we give it justice and don't go through things too quickly for you. Thank you very much to Jon for all the excellent information. Thanks to everybody who's participated today. And we hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. If you just want to stay on for 1 second, I'll just end this by letting you know that it does great with that type of stuff. You do want to just be careful about PHI. It will work with current medical journals. So that's the end of that question. Everybody else's questions, I'll have them send them over to me and I'll type out responses and send them over to you guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Everybody have a great afternoon. Thanks again, Jon.
Bye.